I said that the future of Pharaoh Total War would surpass expectations, and somehow I think I'm being proved right. Now, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because Pharaoh Total War has just had another Q&A about the extended map. And okay, people will say, but Pharaoh Total War is long gone. Pharaoh Total War is not a game that one should worry about. But I say, don't underestimate the passion that the developers have for this game. I love the Bronze Age period. This is a time period that I absolutely like. So therefore, I will make videos about it. And I will say that Pharaoh Total War is looking better than ever. I mean, can you see such well-designed cities like this? But people will say, oh no, the battles are this, the battles are that. But that's not the main point. The main point is I'm going to break down what the Q&A is for you guys. And there's some interesting details that I think will be most interesting. So let's begin. So I think the very first thing we should confirm is that there is going to be a custom city map of Babylon. We are going to be getting Mesopotamian landmarks. And they have created this unique settlement battle map that represents the city of Babylon for you to defend or torch to the ground as you see fit. So I'm really liking that. I'm really liking that it is also corresponding to the historical period. However, we're not going to be seeing like the famous gates of Ishtar or something like that. So what you're going to have in Babylon is, let's say, Etamanaki Temple, Esgalia, which houses the statue of Marduk. There's a sort of moat that will surround the city walls and a canal that will cut through the city itself. Alright, I'm getting more hype when I say about this. But, you know, we will see that some of the Mesopotamian cities are based out on the layouts of actual cities such as Mari and Ur. So this might be an indication that we may be getting more unique Mesopotamian cities in the future. So if you want to play as Ramesses, you can go and sack Babylon. That's perhaps the most easiest thing you could do right now. Now, in terms of, let's say, a Dorian invasion to perhaps include the Sumerians, the Phrygians, and the Eurasians, they are more respondent on that regard. The developers do want to add something like that, and I would definitely like to see this dynamic of the Mycenaeans and the Minoans and the Dorians all interacting with each other, because this is the collapse of the Bronze Age. Right now, we also have Elam. Now, Elam is looking quite small. There are some Elamite factions. They are supposed to represent the constant, if occasionally, potential threat that Elam was for the kingdoms around, let's say, the Tigris and the Euphrates River. So, one of the Elamite gods is also present in the local deity's future, which is good, but I wanted more detail. Like, how will the Elamites act? Are they like a second Sea People's invasion? Are they more like a threat? Just what exactly were they? So that's something I want to see more in this game. How much more do we get of the Elamites? Because I think the Elamites are quite an interesting faction indeed. There are some questions about, let's say, will we have Bronze Age Armenia? And Armenia is also united under Confederation of Tribes. So the Assyrians will call them as the Nari, as the land of the rivers in Assyria. But while Nari is a region within the current map expansion, if you include every single Bronze Age culture that existed, then the geographical aspects will be complicated. I do agree with this to a degree, but I also hope that one day we could see Bronze Age India. The Indus Valley would be a great civilization to add in. But, you know, the map is pretty big, as they're saying, and it should suffice for Pharaoh. But that does kind of make me a little disappointed. Just a little that, you know, we're not getting Bronze Age in here. I think the Indus Valley would still be fantastic to add in, but we shall have to wait and see whenever. I mean, even I agree that the map itself is pretty big, and we have seen nothing yet. I think we should give them some time before we actually see anything. And no, naval battles are not going to be there. While they would be very awesome to have, they still say that there's not much of the player base that play naval battles. And I have to say this to a Total War fan base. You have to keep playing naval battles, because what their stats are telling them is that not many people are interested, not many people play it. If you want historical Total War to succeed, you have to give Pharaoh a chance. If you don't want to give Pharaoh a chance and just judge with a bias that, oh no, Pharaoh is a bad game, it's the most worst Total War game ever made in the existence, then I will point you out to Rome 2. I will say that Rome 2 is the worst Total War game ever made in the history of Total War games itself. It has a streamlined campaign, it has a lack of cinematics, it has perhaps some of the worst cinematic cutscenes that you could ever imagine. It has a big setting, but the reason I keep playing the game is because of the time period. That's why. Streamlined campaign, not enough role-playing politics, and it was CA Sophia that saved Rome 2 in the campaign department, because otherwise it was just raise an army, do this, go ahead, go and attack, and do nothing else. That was literally Rome 2. CA Sophia saved it. And that's the main problem I have. One way you could say that the big Total War games lack the campaign gameplay and depth that the newer Total War games have more depth to it. So imagine if Troy and Pharaoh's campaign mechanics were put into Rome 2 and Empire. Then you would obviously have more to play with, wouldn't you? So naval battles, again, people need to play it. They need to play more of it, and I do hope that naval battles will be something, because I've never agreed with the Warhammer style of having naval battles on land, because that just defeats the purpose of having a naval battle in the first place. Well, that is my opinion. Another thing that they have confirmed, which is a bit disappointing, is that they will not improve the size of the battle maps to have, let's say, the current one. So if you go into a land battle, you go in and you will fight in a small hex square. That is not going to be improved, because reworking the size of the rest of these maps will be just not enough. And I'm disappointed in this, because I'll be honest with you, larger battle maps have always been a feature of Total War. If you restrict and keep restricting these battle maps, you are never going to get something that was going to be, it needs to be better. But they have said that there are maps with larger size for Mesopotamia, and there's more open space over there, so that's good. That's something good, but there isn't going to be a change of current battle maps. As of right now, they are also thinking of how to portray the Bronze Age collapse. So if people love the prosperity aspect of the campaign map, as compared to looking in comparison to the Crisis campaign map, then they will have a setting. They'll discuss about this and see, but I would really like to see something like that in this game. Now, there is an option, there will be, now the Sea Peoples will be reworked. There is going to be a lot of experimentation with their behavior, and they want to address how their armies act in various ways, so that players will become frustrated. So I really do hope that they turn up the notch on the Sea Peoples and make them more like Attila the Hun, and make them a really difficult chaos-style invasion, so that it is representing the collapse of the Bronze Age. And I do hope that they make the Sea Peoples more powerful. Give them some more units, give them some more reskins, give them something big, because I don't just want this update to simply just be a map expansion and there's been a few stats here and there. No, give us new units, redesign new unit armors, make sure that the Sea Peoples are actually like the Sea Peoples in this game, because I have been saying from day one, this game has always needed an expanded map. Otherwise, you're always giving them something that is smaller. I am going to go just on a few off notes things. The entire Q&A is within the Discord itself, so you can watch it, and you can watch on the Total War video here. But now there's something more interesting. There is an option to have Immortal Leaders mode in the new map, but of course you will have it within the campaign customization options. You will also have the original Troy OST for the Aegean cultures, the Pharaoh OST for the Egyptian, and some new music for the new regions, which will be mixed in with the game soundtrack. So Pharaoh and Troy will use dynamic music systems. There will be more Mesopotamian style music within this game, so I think that's a really, really fantastic and overlooked feature. Now, there will be fast travel ports, as I've said. There will be sea lanes added, but there is no sea connection between what is. Also, there will be they will also look at the idea of moving the capital within the expanded map. So I think being able to change would be absolutely great. Now for the last, I think the main big thing that we're going to be seeing here is that they are doing a lot of testing that has AI, and they're testing in QA. I think the main thing is that they are pulling their resources above and beyond to make this a big development, because this game could have been easily cancelled, and I mean easily cancelled. Alright, there was no need for Creative Assembly to even support this game, regardless of whether I, a small YouTuber, made 100 videos saying add Mesopotamia, expand the map, or do whatever. It didn't depend on me. It didn't depend on others. It depended on what Creative Assembly decided to go and do it. I'm glad that they didn't abandon this game. I'm also glad that they're testing out the AI and human control faction, which is perhaps taking a lot of time, because you want these big major factions to fight each other. So they have said that, let's say if Ramesses tries to go and conquer Babylon, then he has the most easiest terms, so it can be done within 50-60 turns, which is great. You could have sea travel lanes that are there to facilitate transition and conquest. You can migrate to new territories, especially as the Shurda and Pelster sea peoples. And they did say in a playthrough, one of them tried to migrate with steady towards Greece and the landmass of Greece. I managed to do that, but as you can imagine, the Mycenaeans were not happy about it. So, this means there could be an interesting style of campaign gameplay. And this is more of what we need. I urge Creative Assembly not to give up development after the big expanded map. I hope there is a scope for a Mythos expansion once the historical mode is finished. I think Mythos would be an absolutely excellent way. And people will say, but you added fantasy. I'm saying, but literally half the content in the Bible is Bronze Age fan fiction mythology inspired. I just do not see how added mythos at the end of the day is going to literally ruin everything. I just don't see it that way. But you could say, okay, you can play Warhammer Fantasy, but Warhammer is like modern style fantasy. It's not like as if it's truly inspired from the Bronze Age. Okay? The Bronze Age is a completely different style of mythology that in turn also inspires classical mythology as well. And that's something else that can be discussed for another video. So at the end, what I really do hope is that we get unique Mycenaean battle maps. We do get the Palace of Crete and Knossos, or even though it may have perhaps destroyed during this time, I really don't mind. I just want the maps. I just want the famous Bronze Age maps that correspond to this time period. I think Pharaoh is looking in a very good direction for now. We are also going to be getting a blog update sooner or later that it will be talking about the factions. I hope they show more screenshots. I hope they show this screenshot of the city of Babylon, and I really do hope that they do some great stuff here. So this is just a preview of what we're going to be getting. This expanded map update is looking great, and that's it. I'm just going to finish off by saying we have finally reached, I believe, what the game has always needed from the start. And it couldn't have been done without the support of you guys that have also encouraged this as well. So I'll be taking more information as it comes up. We're going to be getting lots of great content, and I just think everything is going to be great. So don't forget to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.